Alright, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to Real Madrid Hub again. I'm your host, Dr. JOTA, and today, as usual, we have a very exciting show. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. We have a bunch of news today, very important news. Let me remind you, on Sunday we will be playing against Espanyol, another super important game of La Liga. Of course, we can't afford to miss this game because right after the wake-up call, the game against Sheriff Tiraspol, as you probably know, we got, into a mini crisis, a little kind of crisis for the first time in the season. Right after a huge, spectacular beginning of the season, we got a draw against Villarreal. It was not very, it was not very good, but neither very bad. But the problem is, right after the defeat against Sheriff Tiraspol, the things are going to move in the wrong direction. And for some people, Real Madrid might get into a new crisis we've never seen before under Ancelotti's command. But I don't want to be such a pessimistic guy, and I want to think that we are going to win against Espanyol. And of course, all these two games, we should consider them just an accident or something like that, right? I don't want to think that we are going to get into a very deep, crisis or something like that, because to me, Real Madrid is still the favorite one in a team that in reality can, try to fight for any single trophy this season, including the UEFA Champions League. But nobody knows. See what happened to FC Barcelona last night against Benfica. Nobody was expecting for FC Barcelona to be defeated by 3-0 against Benfica, of course. So when it comes to champions, man, there's no weak teams or weak rivals or easy teams or easy games or something like that. So we have to be careful. And the good news here is the defeat against Sheriff Tiraspol has become, my opinion, in a kind of wake-up call for all those Madridistas, for all the players, to say, hey, be careful, because this is not going to be easy, and if you want to win whatever you want to win, you will have to fight for it. And be careful, because every single team, every single game matters, every single game is important. So it's not only about that. I want to talk to you as well about the latest offer. Apparently Paris Saint-Germain is willing to throw on the table for Kylian Mbappe for renewing his contract. Again, they are still insisting in re-signing the player, in keeping the player, in keeping Kylian Mbappe in Paris Saint-Germain. But of course, my answer is going to be the same. But let me put this on hold, and we will be talking about that later on. And then, of course, I have to talk about Erling Haaland as well, because Sport 1 in Germany is claiming Erling Haaland, Borussia Dortmund has spread 30 different scouters to find and spot the right replacement for Erling Haaland. Apparently all these people are right now all around the world finding the right substitute for the Norwegian player, because they are assuming that Erling Haaland will leave Bundesliga and will leave Borussia Dortmund as of the next summer, as of the next season. So that is very good news as well for Real Madrid. So let's get started with the next game against Espanyol-Real Madrid. Is a very difficult game, as you probably can imagine. Like I said, there's no easy game, there's no easy team right now. Even Espanyol can create a lot of problems. And of course, for a Real Madrid who has been going through this kind of little crisis of 2 games, no winning, and 1 defeat, 1 draw, not good, not bad either, not super like, okay, this is the end of the world, but kind of, it's like every time Real Madrid loses a game, especially if they are losing against a team like Sheriff Tiraspol, who was very brand new in this competition, of course, there will always be problems around Real Madrid. There will always be, rumors, speculations, bad news, and things like that, right? So I don't want to think that way. What I want to think is pretty much that we are going to try to win. We will see, in my opinion, some changes maybe again in the lineup, because if you think about it, I don't think that Miguel Gutierrez will be there. To me, this time Nacho Fernandez will be there, and maybe potentially Lucas Vázquez might come back to the lineup of Real Madrid to occupy the right position for him, which is of course the right back. I mean, it is not his natural position, that is true, and I agree with you all guys, but if you think about it, instead of placing in that place to Fede Valverde, which is of course something to me completely crazy, completely insane. I mean, there's no point in doing that. My opinion is Lucas Vázquez should be there, right? So if Lucas Vázquez is in the right, to me Nacho Fernandez might come back to the left back, and in my opinion it is the right player to be there right now, considering we don't have to Ferland Mendy or either Marcelo Vieira still recovered from his injuries. So when it comes to the defense line, my bet is that, I mean, Nacho Fernandez in the left back, and then David Alaba and Militao in the center of the defense, and then in the right back Lucas Vázquez. But you never know. I mean, with Carlo Ancelotti, for now what we know is Carlo Ancelotti doesn't trust too much on Lucas Vázquez. I mean, he's not willing to rely any single game in Lucas Vázquez, apparently, because Carlo Ancelotti has barely used the Lucas Vázquez in these last games. So there are no so many chances for Lucas Vázquez to play in this game, but to me, again, is the right choice when it comes to the right side of the field. I mean, since we don't have any other natural player for that position, and Carvajal is still out of the squad and injured, and you don't have any other player that can play in that position, Lucas Vázquez is definitely the player who should be there. I mean, Nacho Fernandez is much better in the center back position, but of course, if you already have to David Alaba and you want to place David Alaba as the center back along with Militao, then Nacho Fernandez has to be in the left, because to me Nacho Fernandez is able to do a much better job in that position than in the right back, right? So I mean, Nacho Fernandez will be good whatever you want to place him, right? But if I have to choose one position for him, I would say definitely the left back, considering the rest of the players and names and circumstances and all the stuff. So that is important for me to highlight. And then if we move forward to the midfield, my opinion is that we will see a completely different midfield to the other day. To me, in this game against Espanyol, I don't think the Casemiro will be featured again. My guess is Camavinga will feature again, and then Marco Asensio and Fede Valverde will play alongside. I mean, it is pretty much to repeat the same midfield we displayed against Mallorca in the other game in the Bernabeu. I mean, the day that Marco Asensio scored 3 goals and the midfield was incredibly good and stuff like that. Because to me, still Luka Modric is not convincing too much the Carlo Ancelotti, and to me, Luka Modric is still a player who has to be on the bench for now. I mean, it is a very good player, of course, there's no doubt about that, but the problem is if he is not 100% in shape, if he is a little bit tired, if he shows a kind of, sign or signal that is a little bit overwhelmed or tired or out of shape or something like that, he should be on the bench for now and give the opportunity for other players like Marco Asensio or Fede Valverde to be there, because they're younger, they're faster, they have more ideas right now, and although they don't have maybe the experience that Luka Modric has, my opinion is you have to give him the opportunity to be there and of course trust them, because I think that these guys in the near future can become the next midfield of Real Madrid, right? So to me, that would be the ideal midfield for Real Madrid against Espanyol. And then if we move forward to the attack, then I would say pretty much what I'm saying all the time: Vinicius Junior, Karim Benzema, and of course Rodrigo Goes might be there. And why is that? Why I do think Rodrigo Goes might be ahead of Eden Hazard in the lineup of Real Madrid. Okay, the other day we saw it, and very clear. Hazard is still a very good player who can, dribble a little bit, who can, carry up the ball and do different things, different stuff. I mean, sometimes very beautiful, dribblings and things like that, but is not a player who can, score and create real danger in the rival area, real big chances for Real Madrid to score. I mean, it is not the kind of player who used to score every 2 games or something like that. It is not the player anymore that used to score 15 to 20 goals every season. To me, Eden Hazard nowadays is a completely different player, and although he's a player that can create some danger, it is not the bowler that we really need in the attack of Real Madrid. To me, it is a player that if he is there, that's fine, it's okay. But if Rodrigo Goes is there, to me, is much better option for Real Madrid because he's deeper, he can go straight right through to the goal and create more danger, even score more. I mean, he scores way more than Eden Hazard, and it is a better option for me for the attack of Real Madrid, and especially when it comes to the right wing of Real Madrid. I mean, even if they are alternating all the time and rotating all the time in the attack of Real Madrid between Vinicius, Rodrigo, Benzema, moving each other and stuff like that, moving around, that is a good thing for Real Madrid because even in that situation, Rodrigo Goes can create more danger, way more danger than Eden Hazard. To me, Eden Hazard, it's fine, it's okay, but it's not the ultimate attacker that you want in your lineup, right? So to me, Marco Asensio is definitely a better option, and that is in regards to the next game, Espanyol-Real Madrid. But let me move forward and let's talk about the news that came out from Sport 1 in Germany, because they claim Borussia Dortmund is assuming the departure of Erling Haaland, and that is so that they have sent about 30 people, 30 scouters all around the world to spot the right substitute for Erling Haaland. I told you one name yesterday, it was Anthony Martial from Manchester United. They've been talking about, in the journalists, the newspapers, media outlets and stuff, they have been talking about as well Lautaro Martinez as another possible replacement, even Mauro Icardi. But I think that they are looking for younger players and more unknown players. The situation with Haaland was pretty much the same. When Erling Haaland signed for Borussia Dortmund, it was pretty much unknown player. It was a very promising player though, but at the same time, he didn't have the relevance, he didn't have the importance that he achieved over the time. 2 years later, 1 year and a half later, he has become one of the greatest players in the soccer industry right now. But when he was signed back in the day by Borussia Dortmund, he was a completely unknown player, because although we have heard by that time about all the goals that he was able to score in Salzburgo or even in the national team of Norway and stuff like that, the 9 goals against Honduras, to me, he was still a very promising player but unknown player. But now it is going to be very difficult for Borussia Dortmund to identify, spot or find any other similar player, because like I said the other day, players like Erling Haaland only pops up every once in a while. Every 10 years or something like that. It is not that easy, but that is the way how they found to Aubameyang last time, or even to Robert Lewandowski back in the day, right? So my opinion is Borussia Dortmund wants to plan ahead the next season without Erling Haaland. And as far as Real Madrid, most important is to assume that we will sign Erling Haaland not only because he wants to play for Real Madrid, but also because we have room enough in our books to pay him the best salary ever. To me, Real Madrid has been doing the right things financial wise, and of course right now or next summer 2022, Real Madrid will be able to pay crazy salaries to both of them, Kylian Mbappe and of course Erling Haaland. So that is the good news for Real Madrid. And let me tell you the last story, which is of course very important story, because according to El País in Spain, Paris Saint-Germain has thrown on the table the last offer for Kylian Mbappe, which is completely insane. The other offers though were also insane, but this one is even worse. It's about 50 million euro salary per year for the player. But not only that, apparently they want to pay an additional 100 million euros in 2 seasons if Leo Messi leaves Paris Saint-Germain in 2 years, right? That is the only condition. But if so, he will receive an additional bonus of about 100 million euros, which is completely insane. So they are trying their best. They are giving all that they have. They are putting on the table whatever it takes to renew Kylian Mbappe. The problem is the player has already said his only dream for now is to go and play for Real Madrid, to become a new Real Madrid player. Even they are saying the family is asking to PSG to put a clause, to type a clause in the contract that says that he will be free just in case Real Madrid wants to sign him. But it doesn't make any sense, because for now, right after 4 years playing for Paris Saint-Germain, it is the right moment and the right time for Kylian Mbappe to become and sign for Real Madrid. Why do you guys want to wait a little bit more? There's no point on it. If this player was still, immature or super young player, 18 years old or something like that wouldn't be maybe the right moment to sign for Real Madrid. But considering he's 22 years old, super young guy, 4 years experience in Paris Saint-Germain, winning trophies and reaching the final of the UEFA Champions League. I think that this guy is experienced enough to play in Real Madrid. You know what I'm saying? So there's no point in trying to extend a little bit more the contract with PSG. And to me, next summer will be the perfect time for Kylian Mbappe to arrive to Real Madrid. So let's see what happens. So now let me know your comments in the section below, and of course subscribe my channel, Real Madrid Hub.